There is so much talk around swing states. Let me explain what makes a state a swing state. Also, why are they so crucial to win the White House? Let's find out. America has 50 states in total, but the race to the White House will be decided by just 7. It's not a rule or something, but this is what ends up happening every single election. Swing states end up deciding the election results. Let me start by telling you what makes a state a swing state. They're often referred to as battlegrounds because this is where the real fight takes place. These are states where both major political parties, the Democrats as well as the Republicans, have a strong chance of winning. And results over the years have shown that the voter margin can be very, very close. Like, for example, in the 2020 election, the margin of victory in Arizona was only 0.3%. Let's zoom out for a while. There are a total of 538 seats nationally. They are distributed across the country depending on the state's population. To win the White House, a candidate must win at least 270 electoral votes. So while traditionally blue or red states are relatively easy to win, the votes coming from the swing states become crucial. Which is why you'll see candidates spending a lot of time and a lot of money campaigning in these states. They hold rallies, run ads, and even focus on local issues that they normally wouldn't do. In the last election, 2/3 of the campaigning was focused in the swing states. It can sometimes even get too much. But in the end, swing states are what make or break the election. While they change with each electoral cycle, this time there are a total of 7 of them. Nevada with 6 votes, Wisconsin with 10 votes, Arizona with 11 votes, Michigan with 15 votes, Georgia and North Carolina with 16 votes each, and Pennsylvania with the largest share of 19 votes. Now you know what a swing state is and why it's so important. So if you live in one, remember your vote could be the one that swings your state. For more such explainers by me and Anya Datta, tune into WION World is One. And now to get us in perspective, we are being joined by Dr. Matthew Tarpe. He is an assistant professor of political science in the School of History, Philosophy and Social Sciences at Pittsburgh State University. Professor, thank you so much for joining us here on WION. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I want to quickly unpack this entire garbage scandal, if I can call that, playing out in America. Now, you must have tracked it and you know the comments that are coming in. Both camps are trying to now do damage control. But if we could zoom out a little and try to understand what has panned out in the last 6 months, is that we have heard a lot of name calling, not just with the 2 direct candidates, but also their campaign team, in fact, their voter base, the people who come to their rally, how big the size is of the crowd, and all of that around it. I want to ask you how much of this actually reaches the voter, as well as how much of it affects their decision making as to who they want to vote for.
Well, I think it certainly reaches them. I mean, it's a very salient story. And I think voters are paying attention to this sort of rhetoric in terms of its consequences. My best guess would be that it would have more of an influence on the decision to vote as opposed to abstain from the election as compared to the decision of who to vote for. So my guess would be that if this comment in particular had a significant effect, it would be because it gave former President Trump something to campaign on, and it helped mobilize his supporters and potentially increased the percentage of Trump voters who, or potentially increases the percentage of Trump voters who are going to participate in this election. But I would be surprised if this particular comment caused someone to switch their or a large percentage of people to switch their vote from Vice President Harris to former President Trump, just because everything we know about what determines vote share. I think that one specific comment that was coming from the current president, Joe Biden, which he sort of clarified, and then that he was talking about the comedian and not Trump supporters, and then Vice President Harris sort of distanced herself from those comments. So I would be surprised if it had a significant impact on a large percentage of voters' decision of who to vote for, but it could have a significant impact on the election through helping Trump mobilize his supporters.
Right. Also, just a few days to go for the big November 5th day. What do you think the both candidates are now eyeing for in the next few days?
I think that, the pivot in the last couple of weeks has been to voter turnout, right? So I think the persuasion part of the campaign is still occurring. Both candidates are still trying to persuade undecided voters to come over to their side. But if you look, for example, at former President Trump's social media accounts, he's sharing information about how to vote in certain states and encouraging his supporters to vote. You see similar patterns with Vice President Harris, but also you still see significant engagement with the issues. So former President Trump is talking about conflict in the Middle East. Vice President Harris is talking about the housing issue. Both candidates are still trying to differentiate themselves from the alternative, which can help persuade those sort of remaining undecided voters, but also can play an important role in shaping voter turnout. So, the strategies there are strategies that are unique to voter turnout that I just talked about, like sharing
Right.
information about how to vote. But keep in mind that the discussion of the issues and the attempt to try to distance oneself from the other candidate, it can have an impact on voter decision making, but can also mobilize voters as well.
Right. Professor, you briefly mentioned social media. Let's talk about Elon Musk. He is the richest man in the world. He is also the owner of a major tech and social media company, X. He has endorsed Donald Trump. He has also pulled a lot of money for the Republican camp this time. When you keep all of these factors in, and then you think about, wait, a major part of campaigning from both sides are happening on social media, particularly X. How do you think that complicates the campaigning and the election overall?
I think it probably advantages Trump. I mean, Elon Musk has the most followed account on X currently. There's obviously a substantial percentage of people who are on X getting information on X. So, given Elon Musk's considerable following on that platform, he's able to share things that are advantageous to the Trump campaign that potentially advantages former President Trump and his quest to get back into the White House. And we know that, not celebrity position, but the positions of, people who are very prevalent or present in the public eye can have a significant impact on voter decision making and can advantage a candidate. So we saw this, for example, with Oprah during the Obama campaign in 2008. So I think that Elon Musk's support for Trump could have an influence through his endorsement, but also could have an influence through, as you mentioned, his control of the fact that he owns X and has such a prevalent voice on that platform. I think it could help former President Trump through the dissemination of information that is favorable to the former president.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for joining us here on WION.
Thank you so much.